So the reason that you clicked on this video is that you want free stuff, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. Now keep in mind, this doesn't just only work for soccer stuff, it works for pretty much any industry you want, whether that may be coffee, clothing, and anything that you can put your mind to. But if you're new around here, let me take a moment to introduce myself. My name's Sam, and I run this YouTube channel, JS Soccer, with my friend Justin and my brother Fisher. We have an Instagram and TikTok as well, where we post lots of soccer content. So if you enjoy what we do, make sure you follow us on all of those platforms. And if you actually do take a look at our socials, you'll notice that we don't exactly have the biggest following out there. Yet we've still worked with companies like We Got Soccer, New Balance, and Umbro, just to name a few. So if you want free stuff too, just make sure you stick around and watch the whole video. But if you don't want free stuff, that's cool, I guess, if you actually don't want free stuff. But yeah, let's get into this video. So there are a few reasons that brands may want to work with you on social media. The two most common reasons are, one, that you have a large following, or two, that you make quality content. So let's talk about the first one, which is a little bit more obvious. So if you have a large following, brands probably want to send you stuff to carry out something called influence marketing, which means basically brands want to use you to advertise their product to a large amount of people on social media, which is your audience. Sometimes you can even get paid by doing this. So sometimes brands will provide you with a coupon code for your followers to use, or an affiliate link, which basically means if people click on that link or use those coupon codes, you might get a little bit of a money kickback from it, depending on how many people click on it or buy stuff through those links. I assume most of you watching this video though don't have a large following, kind of like us. So here's where the next reason comes in, and that is making quality content. This could mean making content with high production value, like we do, or just making some really highly engaging content like telling a good story or making people laugh and more. Brands might reach out to you for this reason because one, they want to use your content that you create on their social pages, or two, they think the quality of your content is enough to sell their product even with a small following. So once you actually figure out which category you fall under, whether that may be having a large following or making quality content, how do you actually contact these brands? There are a few ways to go about this as well. One, you could just wait for them to contact you, or two, you can go get them and contact them yourself, which is usually the better option. For the first little method, this will probably most likely only happen to you if you have a large following, but there are still ways that you can not directly reach out to the brand and still get contact with them, which I have actually used and it's worked for me on numerous occasions. So if you really do enjoy a specific brand, chances are you have some of their products lying around your house. So I would suggest creating content with those products that you already have, such as Instagram photos or a YouTube review or something like that. And this is actually how I got a couple of my free things, which I'm going to talk about later in the video. The second method that you can take is you can actually reach out to the brands yourself, which is usually the better option. For this, I would suggest using email because it is the most professional way of contacting somebody. But if you cannot find an email for a specific company, you can always try to reach out via Instagram DM or something like that. And when you're reaching out to these companies, you usually want to ask for somebody in the marketing department. These are the people at those companies that will be handling all the brand deals for influencers and stuff like that. You also want to make sure you're making some sort of personal connection to the brand, whether you just express that you really enjoy their products or there's something in their brand messaging that you can really relate to. In addition to this, outline the value that you can provide to that brand, whether that may be providing content for their social pages or saying that you have a really engaging audience that would definitely be interested in seeing some of their products or something like that. Make sure you are clear and professional when you are writing this message to the brand. If you need to run it by another person before you hit send, do that. These are the techniques that I've used to get the attention of brands, which pairs perfectly with what I'm going to talk about next, which is my real life experience with actually doing this. First off, I want to talk about my favorite soccer store, We Got Soccer. This is the first company that I ever received free gear from, and I couldn't be happier that it was with them. And when we started working with them, we only had around 4,000 followers on our Instagram, and we were still taking pictures with our iPhone. We got their attention by one of the methods that I have already explained, which is creating content with products that we already had from them. Pretty much anytime I would get new cleats back in the day when I was playing, I would get them from We Got Soccer. And pretty much anytime I would get a new pair, I would start taking photos and creating video content for them to put on our Instagram, and then we would end up tagging their account as well. And then sometimes we went into their store location and tagged them while we were in there while we were creating content with some other stuff that they had. Finally, they took notice and reached out to us because they noticed that we were actually local to them, and they wanted to use us for a combination of influence marketing and content for their social pages too. From that moment on, I bought a real camera and continued upping the production value of our videos and photos, and we've been working with them for over 2 years since. Working with We Got Soccer actually led us to work with other brands like New Balance and Umbro. New Balance's PR agency actually noticed us through a comment that we had left on a post about New Balance cleats. And then they had a look at our page and wanted to send us a free pair of cleats right before we hit 10,000 followers. And Umbro just took notice of us out of the blue because they noticed that we created quality content and that we had somewhat of a following. There are also just a few other soccer brands that we worked with here on our socials. I'm not going to talk about them in this video, but I also have some evidence of this working outside of the soccer industry. For those of you that don't know, I have a photo and video based Instagram and YouTube called SNATO Media, and this opportunity came about when I took a photo of a camera setup that I used and posted it to Instagram and tagged all the brands that were in the photo. One of those brands, which was Rode, a reputable microphone brand, saw the post and DM'd me asking if they could repost the photo. And of course I said yes to this, but also I thought to myself, well, I have a company in my DMs, why don't I reach out to them and try and make a deal happen? So I carefully crafted a message, and after a few DMs and some emails, they sent me 2 microphones completely for free. In exchange for this, I was just supposed to create some content for their Instagram page, but I also took the opportunity to create some content for my own social pages. I also have to point out, this was done with less than 500 Instagram followers and less than 100 subscribers on YouTube. So it really just goes to show that you can really make anything happen. So now you know what brands you want and how to get their attention. But before you start your influence marketing journey, here are a few more helpful tips. Start local and small. You're probably not going to work with brands like Nike right away, as they target people like celebrities and pro athletes. So instead, try to get the attention of smaller brands or even local ones close to you. For example, if you're looking for soccer cleats, I would suggest reaching out to your local soccer store rather than the big brands like Nike or Adidas, because your local soccer store will be more likely to be connected to you and will be more likely to respond to your message. Be professional and focus on the brand's needs. After all, they're trying to sell products, so you need to make sure that you let them know that you can help them do that. Have credibility and somewhat of an audience. Put in lots of effort to grow your social media and create a portfolio of work. And then you can show the brands what you can do, hence providing your credibility. Work with brands that you like. Now, this should go without saying, but your marketing is going to be much more successful if you actually enjoy the products that you're pushing to your audience. It's also just going to be a much more pleasurable experience for you and the company you're working with. Plus, if you've already created content with products that you've bought from this brand, they're more likely to work with you anyway. Finally, be ready for rejection. Sometimes brands just don't need to work with somebody at the moment, so don't get discouraged. Instead, pick your head up and find some other brands to work with. So guys, that's it for my tips on how to get free stuff. If you have any further questions, leave them down in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer them for you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to. And also comment down below any future videos that you want to see on this channel. We're always looking for your input. Also, make sure you follow us on all our social media accounts linked down below so you can keep up to date with our latest soccer content. That all said and done, my name's Sam, and I'll see you guys next time.